In today's world, when you hear about royalty, what is the first picture that comes to mind? The first worldview of royalty today, as we currently have it, is that of the Queen of England. This royalty is popularly known and embraced throughout the world. But do you know that the practice of royalty was a common practice all over the entire continent of Africa in the ancient times? Hello everyone, welcome back to Breakage Barriers. If this is your first time here, my name is Blessing, but you can also call me Lady B. Africa's system of leadership was all embraced in royalty. It was sectioned into kingdoms and empires, as opposed to what we have today. Like it's been divided into about 56 countries in Africa. But in the ancient times, it was all about empire, kingdoms, communities. And those communities were in smaller groups and in sections. They were strong communities, highly bonded, and they had their own regalia of leadership. Because it wasn't just about them, it was more often about the community, the people, the well-being of its people. Because when you see a king or a queen, the royals in the ancient African communities is a bigger picture of the well-being of the community, because they had loads of resources. The regalia was that of the earthly resources like gold, silver, diamonds, bronze, and so on and so forth. And that was interpreted into what community that royal was from. Because again, in Africa, everything had meaning. Depending on the resources that they display, it shows where they come from, it shows their origin, it shows the well-being of the people. So that was how it was in the ancient times. And thank goodness, some of these royals still exist up until today, because these royals have been the custodians of the African tradition. If these royals had been completely erased, then the African tradition would have been completely erased alongside the ideology of the royalties. And that would have been grave for the African tradition today. One common notion is that so many Africans today embrace the royalty that comes from Britain, because the place of the Queen represents power, politics, and so on. But the current Africans seem to forget that in Africa, royalty is practiced but not embraced. And this is as a result of the colonized mentality that some Africans carry. Because the ideology of being royal and royalty comes from the ancient African tradition, as we still currently have, where you have the place of the Obas in Nigeria. There are also the likes of the popular Mansa Musa, who was full of royalty and regalia, that traveled all over the world with his entourage, displaying the place of what it is like being royal. We also have the likes of Queen Amina of Zaria from the northern part of Nigeria, the royal Benin Kingdom of the southwestern part of Nigeria, or is it the likes of the Ethiopian Empire? So many of these kingdoms and empires and royalty scattered all over Africa. The list is endless. If I'm to start enlisting these kingdoms and royals, this video will last hours. So there are so many instances of royalty in the African continent, all over Africa, which is where the ideology of the present British royalty is from. Therefore, ye lost Africans with lost tribes and traditions, get knowledge, embrace your own, embrace tradition. Royalty is part of the African system of leadership, which had worked for hundreds of thousands of years before the existence of colonization, having an adverse effect on the system of leadership in Africa, which is currently not working effectively for the African countries today. Africans need to dig into the ancient system of leadership, which will be effective in the current system, because the African cultural way of leading is communal and is effective, which is embedded in kingdoms, empires, and royalty. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Hope to see you next time. Take care now. Bye.